This is Church of Uganda Family TV, enriching lives.
Family Hour, empowering families one episode at a time. Together, we build strong, healthy, and thriving families with our daily dose of inspiration and expert insights on topics that matter, like education and career growth.
A child may be a good entrepreneur, but you're forcing the child to make sure that she passes sciences in order for her to be a what? A nurse.
Family health.
No one should one day tell you that, hey, since you have diabetes, you should not take Caro. That's a lie. There's what you call portion control.
Finance and wealth.
Keep track of your spending. And part of the spending, of course, as we said, be able to separate wants from needs. That's secondary.
Leadership and governance.
There are people who take on the political aspect and try to water down important, significant decisions we leaders take for the good of this country.
Not forgetting parenting.
Now you're raising kids or children who are in a totally different time. You get it. Those days your mother would just give you an eye and you know this is a problem.
Hey, they are visitors.
And it's just there are visitors
and
around.
Mom gives you this eye, you know?
Yes.
Catch more of this every Monday to Friday at 9 p.m.
Well, it is a very good evening and welcome to the Family Hour here at Church of Uganda Family TV. My beautiful name is Claire Bwenje, your world's favorite host. Well, remember this show comes to you every Monday to Friday under different themes, and today we are here under the theme of parenting. I'm here with the team and today we will be discussing how digital addiction is affecting children. These are experts and they're here to share their knowledge, their mind on this very topic. For this Friday, I'll give them a chance to introduce themselves. Ladies and gentlemen, please join me welcome them as they let us know who they are. You're welcome.
Thank you so much, Claire.
Happy to have you on the show.
Yeah, welcome.
Today I'm giving you the opportunity to introduce yourself to the viewer out there.
Thank you very much. I am Dr. Theo Fokukora. And my PhD, the Doctor of Philosophy that I have attained, is in Family, Population and Reproductive Health. And I'm a lecturer at Cavendish University. But most importantly, I love children. So I am the CEO of Adolecentric Global, an organization that takes care of the vulnerabilities of children.
Wow.
Thank you.
Wow, happy to have you on this show, Doctor. You look very young, but you carry a lot. And we are glad to have you here, that we can tap on that greatness.
The power of possibility.
Amen, sure. Amen. Thank you for coming.
Owen Mwesigye is my name, and I'm not a new face to this very screen.
Yeah, you are not.
But I'm passionate about digital citizenship, knowing that we are in the digital world. I have an IT background. I'm a digital marketer by profession. So I interact with screens and media. However, I also know that not all is well, mostly for the young and vulnerable minds. So digital citizenship drives me.
Wow.
So I'm always happy and pleased to share how we can raise a better digital world, mostly for the young ones who are growing up in this age. So I come here to share that.
Exactly.
And I will be happy to share that even after today.
Thank you for offering yourself, Owen. Well, viewer, please don't forget that every last Friday of the month we will be here talking about parenting in the digital era, and that's why you see Owen is back right here together with Doctor. Let's dig into the topic of today, and I'll begin with you, Doctor. What is addiction and when is one considered as an addict? We want to get your mind on this.
So addiction is a state where some individual gets dependence, that the mind, body, soul, spirit, whatever it is, psychology, gets into that specific type of substance that without it, nothing can take place.
Wow.
And so digital addiction is a situation whereby even as adults, we can be addicted.
That's true.
That to an extent, I cannot fail to have my phone. Anytime that I don't have my phone, I feel scared. So I'm dependent on the phone. Nothing more, nothing less can work if I don't have maybe a phone, a computer, a video, whatever it is. So digital addiction is a virus. Like HIV, it's a virus. And it's killing us slowly, especially the children.
Wow. Now, most of the times as parents, we tend to feel like our children are the ones that are being taken up. And from your sharing, you're actually saying that it's taking up even us, the adults. Wow, that is so dangerous. Yeah.
Sure.
Owen, do you have something to add on that?
Yeah, maybe the little I can add on is that often most people look at addiction when effects of it have manifested. However, for one to be called an addict, you must have gone through certain stages. You don't, for example, even say that someone is an addict of alcohol or an addict of cocaine, different drugs of abuse. You've gone through several stages before they actually see that this man is mad. He's mad. What's the reason? Why is he mad? Why is he anxious? There is a reason why that you've reached that level. And most of the times, it's a slow killing crisis that we call it.
Exactly.
And I'm glad that your topic says it's a silent crisis, because everyone wonders why people act the way they act. However, none of them has taken a step to find out, how did I reach here? For example, how did I reach? You move in the streets here, you find people driving and all their phones are glued. There is a steering wheel, the phone is in the middle of the steering wheel, hands are here, eyes are here, but driving forward. That's addiction. Just an example. And then there are different stages. Right from the level where we start from what we'd call casual use, for example. You start by saying, me and my kid, I'll give them this laptop to do their research. It's casual. They're doing minimal work with a PC, or they're watching their favorite episode of the cartoon. And that way, you look at it as, anyway, it's 1 hour. It's 30 minutes of doing homework. They're done with this PC. But before you know it, they got an example. They got a stage where it's regular use. I'm bringing it to easier terms so that we neglect the technological terms of dependency and all that exposure. But here you look at regular use. For example, if you come from casual, my kid is going to do homework for 10 minutes, they are done. Have my phone do research. Now, when your kid gets this phone, after doing research, you're busy perhaps finishing your assignment for work, but they have more time to interact with your phone. Before you know it, they've spent 2 hours on the phone. But the assignment that took 10 minutes now has gone into 2 hours. What are they doing with the other 1 hour and 15 minutes, for example? Now, in that, you find that they have grown to what we'd call regular use. You find that from what you use it for basic reasons, calling mom, video chatting, they've gone to homework, now they start using it, for example, to watch cartoon. Now, beyond cartoon, you'll find that that regular use graduates to something that is risky. That's the time when you come and tell your child, give me my phone, and they start rolling themselves on the floor. They are raising their voices, they are being anxious, they are raging, they are angry, they don't want to talk to you, they refuse to eat. They are going to that risky stage. And before you know it, they can't do without the phone. They've gone to dependency. And then beyond dependency, that's when addiction comes in, and then relapse. I'm putting in this very context of technology. So it's a process. And most of us never know until we've reached at a level where you can't sleep until you've watched a number of series or a number of episodes. You get. And you'd find that you look at technology as a therapy for you to sleep, yet it's actually the reason why you're losing sleep. So for you, for addiction to get a proper meaning, you must know that it doesn't just happen. It doesn't just happen. It comes from one stage to another, one stage to another. Before you know it, you are a drug addict, you are a smoker, and you can't do without smoking. You are doing alcohol, you can't do without alcohol. Everyone says, me, I took my first bottle at this time. But before you know it, you can take 4 bottles and you're okay. You take 10 bottles and you're okay. Now the bottle gets used and it's tolerant. Before you know it, you'll be like, I'm a king, I can even take a crate and I'm okay. It means that your body has adjusted. What happens is, when you used to get 1 bottle of beer and you get drunk, now this time it takes 3. It means that your brain is becoming tolerant. Now you're going to the worst side of it. So that is addiction. A process, it's not a one-time. And the hope is that if you get to know it earlier, the danger that comes with these different substances, it becomes easier to control. Just as the problem, most of us are ignorant of the processes. Yeah.
Wow, thank you very much, Owen. And I really take home that this is a process. It is not a one. Slowly, you might end up being addicted.
Yeah.
But also, from your sharing, I would love to get your mind on this. The world is going digital, really.
Yeah.
You find, and in your introduction, you mentioned that you're a digital marketer. Most of the things that you do is on the phone, and I want to believe so with you, doctor, that now you see everything is on the phone, laptop, everything is digital.
True.
Now, how do you control yourself from being addicted? Because I know that's the question every parent out there would want to know. The world is digital. We need phones, we need laptops, we need all this. How do you control yourselves? You as you that I'm hosting here.
So thank you very much, Claire. You know, we have what you call the brain. The brain is the part of the body that subconsciously registers whatever it is perceived to be good. And in this era, digital migration, if I may say, a lot has shifted from what we call maybe, you know, ontological whatever, what we used to use writing pens and pencils, and now we are getting into the digital type of life. But we want to understand what is the effects of consistent use of digital, of devices to our brain. And that's what we are calling dependence. Now, to control that, and of course there are a little bit of, as Owen said, there are stages that someone goes through. By the time they get to dependence, they are stuck there. They are stuck subconsciously.
Exactly, yeah.
You can't get them out from there. But what we want to do is, we make sure that as parents, we need to be near our children. Look, the highest percentage of, for example, the Ugandans is children. More than 50% are children below 18 years of age. And imagine that this time we are having that digital type of transformation whereby a child cannot think about anything. They have to look for it. The brain doesn't do anything to begin with. We have ChatGPT, we have, so the brain does not have the capacity to think for itself. Imagine what kind of a mature person will these children become if they cannot think for themselves. So we need to understand that there is what we call brain or mental decay. If we do not use devices in a very correct and appropriate way.
Exactly, yeah.
And look, when we were still young, we used to have some small packages of information that the brain can take when you're still young. But the same information now, much higher information is given to the children. How much more do you think the brain of a child can take in? A lot. Look at Disney Junior, whatever it is, Nickelodeon, whatever, and they now come into playing videos and films. The brain is getting intoxicated. So when we talk about alcohol dependence and intoxication, there is also digital intoxication. And when the child is still young and gets intoxicated, the future is spoiled. That is why you get those suicidal tendencies. That is why you get withdrawal syndromes. A child doesn't want to go to school all of a sudden. And they are telling you things that they cannot also comprehend in their brain. Digital dependence, digital intoxication. So the parents, much as we love our children, it's our responsibility to understand that the child's brain is not yet able to take in as much as what we think is less. And yes, we are having a lot of mental ill children, even in class, of P2, P3, P5, P7, senior 1, 2. They cannot take in what the teacher tells them, but they take in what social media takes them.
Yeah.
And that's very amazing. So the parents must take into consideration sitting down the children and making sure these children understand that the brain is the part of the body that controls the body, but meanwhile it has to be nourished with better stuff. And we do not want to defeat the fact that digital devices are very rich in knowledge. Amazing. They're informative. We appreciate that. But what amount of information must the child take in to be of the sanity type of life and not to be insane is what we think is a silent killer of the brain of a child. Until we understand that as a community, as a family, as a community, as a nation, we shall not understand the magnitude of the brain intoxication that we are introducing to these children.
Yeah.
Wow. Wow.
Yes.
Okay.
And to even add one or two things in there, you find that why is the child being put at the center of this? It's because a child is vulnerable in so many ways. She has talked about the idea that their brain at that level hasn't yet evolved to a point where it can consume so much information. Second, it doesn't even develop in a way that it can control impulsive approach. Then basically things that trigger your mind easily. For a kid is struggling actually to stop urinating on the bed at night. You're bringing all this information unfiltered into their hands, into this brain that is still struggling to know adding 1 + 1 is equal to 2. But you're bringing this information. The problem is everyone thinks information is conceived by reading books or by being taught in class. Here we have kids speaking very good English, but tell them to write it.
Wow.
Now that is information. They're acting out their favorite cartoons. They are having all this information they have, which is okay, but is it ready for that brain? Now that brings a level of vulnerability that a kid has. Secondly, is that these kids are not aware. They don't have self-control by that level, like I said. It all starts from their capacity of the brain to grow to a level where I know I'm in control of this. Claire, you can say, I'm going to watch one movie, and it's okay. For a kid doesn't know how much is too much of cartoon.
Exactly.
Doesn't know how much, even whether it's video, whether this is good content or not good content. If it comes with adult content, they will watch, because for them, innocently, it's all content. Now, that vulnerability is what makes us want to feel, how is this young person protected? The other bit is that they are not aware of this danger. And at times I don't blame them, because even parents themselves who are mandated to make sure they train these children in a way that they may live, so that when they grow up, they will not depart from it. That's a Bible instruction to parents. Clear Bible instruction saying that you train. Now the training doesn't come by you saying, you are going to get annoyed, okay, I have my phone, have all you need to do with it. The reason we think that it's important that we talk about such things, that there is a vulnerable age. Secondly is that they are not aware of the addictive nature of these devices. They are as new as we are. However, even parents themselves, they are also babies to technology. They are old in age, but they're babies to technology. They don't actually know that themselves are addictive. And part of training a child is not by taking them to a school or anything. It's through observation. I'll give an example. A parent says, don't watch screen for 2 hours. Go you play with your kids. However, the parent who has sent a kid to go and play with the fellow kids is busy on their phone for 2-3 hours. Question is, a kid interprets this as a punishment, not as something that comes from a good side. You're doing it, why are you telling me not to do it? You get? So we have a very vulnerable, tender brain that is like a sponge. Whatever comes in goes out. Then the other bit is that they have a limited, like for them to be addictive doesn't take much. That's why if you bought gorillas and put them on the table, trust me, the kid will eat until those who have been, who come from a cattle keeping place, you say that if you get a calf and put a pail of milk there, they will drink and drink and drink until their stomach can't accommodate anymore, but still want to drink. It's not any different from a human kid. The same applies, that for them, control levels are limited. And that's why we believe that this age group of children, teenagers, is more risky. Then there is peer pressure. We are looking at the younger brain, but there is a peer pressure that comes with adolescence. The fear of missing out. We've heard of body shaming. Claire, it's very easy for a 8-year-old daughter of yours to look at someone and feel like, if I go on Instagram, every woman must look like this. But this woman, all the women on Instagram have put on 10 filters on their faces. Now they have even apps that put on boobs, put on. So we've let media clearly influence the perception of what the real world is. And yet in reality, it's not the real world. It's the virtual world, it's a virtual community, virtual friends. Everything rotates around what is beyond these phones. And this child has no capacity, because it's at that stage where addiction and influence takes the prime part. And when you expose them to all this information, literally you're leaving them with no choice but to believe that actually the world is in the 3D and the 2D they're having. She also talked about kids when they're learning. The psychology is that now in every urban home, those who have a well-to-do, I want to say whether it's excitement or other parents interpret it as exposure, but they forget the fact that we need to know when enough is enough. There is a reason why he talked about surface learning. Everything is phone. ChatGPT, I want to look for, what do you say? It gives you. Google Maps, I want to go to Kololo. How do I reach Family TV Church House? It takes you.
Siri.
Siri, I'm confused. My child has been given homework about independence of Uganda, and Siri says, okay, the independence of Uganda. We are in that line where our brains have been reduced to surface learning. And our homes are full of gadgets, but with less of games that are active. Instead of you investing 2 million, instead of where you find the kids, very easy for a parent to invest in 3 million to buy an iPhone for an 8-year-old, would find it very hard to go and buy Scrabble, for example. Buy board games. Even buy the easiest way, a soccer ball, and play with them. You invest in a PlayStation of 12 million, but you can't invest in things that actively make these kids grow all around. So we are yet see a generation of surface learners. They can't reason, they can't think, their reasoning, attention span has been reduced to TikTok, 30 seconds videos. That's a crisis. That's the silent crisis we are heading for. Yeah.
Wow. Thank you very much. Thank you very, very, very much. I'm so happy and so glad to host you today. And I must say, I'm a testimony. The last time I hosted you here, Owen, and you were talking about this whole surface learning, which you have talked about today, it really touched me. And I was like, now I have to go and buy games. And I went, I bought Scrabble. So really, it's a lot as parents that we have to learn. And we have to protect our children, really. Because if we don't...
And you know what you did to yourself and your child? That's serious attachment with your child.
Exactly. Yeah.
So when a child and the parents are together, maybe playing Scrabble, or maybe even when the assignment is given, and the child goes to the parent and asks, the parent is able to talk to the child, and the child will be looking at the mother's or the father's face and say, okay, oh, by the way, this is a human being.
Oh, yes.
And by the way, this is my mother, and that is how actually she looks like. Oh, she's so beautiful, honestly. But when she comes and you just give her a phone or him a phone, she'll just go in and write it down, just ask it. She talked about a homework, for example. When did Uganda get independence? You do know?
Yes.
So, when a child comes and asks you, at least you know what to tell the child, okay? Then when you're talking about independence and how they became independent, you bring the colonial rule, and the child is able to say, okay, so that's how it is. And that's very amazing. But for us, phone, computer, go for it, write it, and within 5 minutes ask the same question. She will not be able to tell you something like that. Amazing.
Please, let's take a very quick break. The show returns in a bit. Thank you.